Okay, so you see on YouTube all of these fans of goth music always talking about how goth is only a music subculture of the 1980s onward. You know, goth rock, death rock, dark wave, etc. And how it's not a mindset, or how goth is different from gothic, as in the whole goth rock scene and the club scene and all that is different from the gothic art and literature of the 1800s and earlier. Yet, you never hear these music fans ever say, well, what's behind the music? Why is it that I like this music? What originally connected me to this music? And that's the mindset. See, a lot of these early goth rockers were influenced by romantic poetry, gothic literature, or even early 1900s, cheesy horror films, which were also books a lot of the time. And a lot of these goth rockers still didn't really consider themselves to be goth, even if they had those influences. It's, I think, largely the fashion was considered by the music media to be goth, so they considered the music to be goth because of the fashion to begin with. It's kind of like how shoegaze is called shoegaze. None of the shoegaze musicians call it shoegaze. It's only called shoegaze because they looked down at their feet at the pedal board, and the music media called it shoegaze because of that. It's stuck, and now the new generation call themselves goth and call themselves shoegaze fans and all this. And the thing is it's always the music fans that are saying that it's a music form and not a mindset. And there's always going to be that mindset before any of the music or art is made. There's some internal feeling, some internal understanding of the world, some worldview that goes into why you would create in this way to begin with. Music isn't simply just music. It's not simply a music subculture, but there are all of the mindsets and the internal feelings and expressions of reality that go into the music and go into the subculture that are really at the foundation of the subculture. Music is only a gathering point for these like minded internalized ideas. And in the music later on, maybe not right away, but later on, you see those horror elements and you see more of the romantic and gothic, literature, all these different elements. You see it coming through more and more and more as people are linking this mindset to historical figures that also had the mindset. If you look at the Wikipedia right now, it'll show you an article about how certain goth musicians were directly influenced by certain poets or certain artists and etc. And this is how I always say it, is that Edgar Allan Poe himself had the mindset. If he didn't have that mindset, he wouldn't have created in the way that he did. He wouldn't have written in this way. And it's this mindset that's also present in us today, which is why we connect with these dark things in the Gothic concepts. Like I said, this flair for the romantic, loss, this closeness to death, this, this, this interest in the macabre, in horror, and etc. It all adds together, and we're not simply unique in, you know, the modern era. It's the 1980s onward. It was unique in that the music itself and its offshoots were unique to its time, but that feeling within, like the mind and the heart inside of it, has really been, beating and thinking and feeling for centuries. And I think it's important to understand this. There's always going to be some mind or some feeling or etc. behind all of it. And that's really, to me, what the core of the subculture is that mindset. So I think my point's made, hopefully. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll give you as rational of a response as I can.